Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Steven Inks, and today we're talking about a weird pen that I found on a Black Friday sale. Not something I would normally even be interested in, but it was just too weird, I had to check it out. This is the Writech Retractable pen. I'm not sure the actual name of it, but I know the company is called Writech. It's a very interesting little push pen, I guess is another term they call for it. We're going to check it out today, see if it's worth its price, if it writes well, if it writes at all, and then we'll check in with you at the end and see what I think. Okay, and this is the Writech Retractable Fountain Pen. Plastic little lozenge-shaped case. There's some cartridges underneath. They look like they might be Standard International. Let's get it open and have a look. See, this case is kind of interesting. I don't know how I feel about it. It's a little bit funky, but a little bit is interesting. Not cheap plastic, actually. But this, okay, you could keep this and you could use it pretty well with the pen. So let's just pull this out here. All right, and there's the pen. It's having a little trouble focusing. Okay, it says retractable fountain pen. I want to read this because this makes me laugh. Don't put your fingers on the nib cover to prevent stabbing. So I think they mean this part of the pen right here. That is so weird looking. So this is a circle, basically a big old circle, and if I push it, a little circle comes out, and there's the nib. It doesn't click in a satisfying way like the Platinum Curidas or the even the Mahjong A1 or the Vanishing Point. I don't have a Vanishing Point, but I've heard that it's similar to the A1. Definitely a cheaper pen than both of those. Cheaper even than the A2, which is made of plastic, but has a similar, I don't know. This is kind of satisfying, but this is just like, this thing with it coming out like that is just super weird. It's like, knock, knock, knock. Hello? Close the door. So I don't know what that's going to be like to write with, but let's take it apart. Okay, so unscrewing this part right here. There's a cartridge here. I don't know if I have any Standard International cartridges to compare it to. I have some Kavecos over here, so let me pull this out and see if these might be similar to that. And if they're not, then that means that this pen takes its own cartridge, which would be kind of lame. Those don't look similar at all. So this thing has its own proprietary cartridge system, which means you could refill this one with ink later. You need a blunt needle syringe, but it looks like this is not designed with compatibility in mind. Definitely designed with cheapness in mind. I can tell by the materials. They're not of the highest caliber, but there's a little spring-loaded thing here. All right, and I have to show you this image. Insane. This is how they want you to put the cartridge on the pen, I'm assuming. You're going to place the bottom here, install with the cartridge with the nib up. Yeah, so you have to slam it down onto the table to push it in. That's insane. I can't imagine where did that idea come from? There's so many better and apparently safer ways to do this because they're saying avoid stabbing. So I'm assuming you could just push it in like this, right? But they need you to push it down. Okay, we're going to change the angle so we can do that. That's pretty much all there is to this pen. I would have to say, let's see. If I were to put this back in here so that you can't actually retract the nib without having a cartridge in there, it looks like. all of this is craziness. This is one of the weirdest pens I've ever seen. The nib is super strange too. If you look at it, you can see it. It kind of looks like a dip pen nib. It's just this sort of little tiny thing, and the slit in this is kind of, I don't know how much you're going to be able to see that, but the slit is kind of wide. It goes down to about the bottom of the visible part of the nib, like right there. That's crazy. I wonder if this is flexible. Doesn't appear to be. Okay, and then there's this wispy clipped fingernail of a feed right here. I don't have confidence for how this is going to go, but we're going to see. All right, close the door. Okay, we're giving this a try. Unscrew the top. Removing this right here. I'm sizing it up. Okay, I felt it click in. And there we go. We're supposedly filled with... Oh, there it is. You have to push it extra hard to make it go in. And there we go. We're filled up with ink. Not sure what's going to happen here, but let's give it a little time to clean up or to fill up with ink, and we'll come back and look at it and see how it writes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for line weights. I don't know what to expect from this, but here we go. It's weird because any lower of an angle, and I'm really gonna be hitting this little trap door, but try it. Whoa, okay. I hate to even say this, but it's kind of good. It's smooth. There's a line variability to it. Look at that. Like light pressure, heavy pressure. Just have a quick look at what this looks like up close. You can get a really good variety of lines with this. You can get some character into this. Honestly, I'm shocked that this is as good as it is. Let's just check some reverse writing. No way. Yeah, you can get a really thin back line and a front line. This is not getting in the way as much as I thought it would. It does have a little bit of you could feel the cheapness of the pen. Like it reminds me of like a Jinhao Shark. But it has really good flow. It's surprising me right now. I'm actually shocked at how well this is going. You can get a variety of lines out of this. I'm not sure that I like it because it looks weird and it doesn't feel very nice in your hand because it's cheap, but it's usable. But now as I say that, the flow is starting to slow down a little bit. Is it though, or am I just going too fast? This is perplexing. Because I don't know what to think. Because yeah, like consistently I'm able to really like play with the line weight. And that is blowing my mind right now. This kind of would be a great pen to carry when you want a retractable pen that you don't want to worry about if you lose or break, because that's kind of what we got here. I'm not saying this definitely doesn't compare to like the A1 or the Curidas as far as the quality and the craftsmanship, the workmanship of just the pen, but its ability to make lines is pretty good. That's very surprising. I think you could get a really nice drawing out of this. Something that I'm definitely going to do in just a little bit. but surprisingly smooth. I definitely could see some micro mesh giving this a little bit of an improvement as far as the line quality, but like out of the box, this is pretty good. I expected this to be unusable, and it's actually not terrible. This is not a recommendation. It's not even a very kind accommodation. But this is like all right. You know what's interesting is you can actually take this little flap here and lay it flat so that it actually touches, and you have this ability to use it like a steadying device. That's a pretty, I didn't even show that on the screen, I'm sorry. That's a pretty straight line I can get, and I think that this support actually helps with that. I'm notoriously terrible at straight lines. But yeah, that's wild. I'm gonna give you a bit of art advice, and we're gonna just move on to the next part. Art advice. This one's more stylistic, but I think it's interesting. Emphasize edges. Even with a round shape, like you can do a perfectly round shape, and you can go into really fine details. I'm not going to do this right now, but you can go into really fine lines. Look at how well this holds up. This is amazing. And render the crap out of your circle and make it super smooth. You can even do this with pen and ink to the point where you don't get any just everything's just so 100% smooth, and it looks okay. But then if you take that same idea, and I'm just gonna be a little bit rough with it, and then get some edges into it, like even a circle can have like a... Okay, so my battery died while I was giving art advice. Not the best place for it to die, but let's just keep it real simple. Look at these two circles. I find this one to be more interesting, and I think it has to do with the sharpness, the corners, the edges, the imperfections, as opposed to this, which is a more smooth and all-around shapely piece. I actually can't help it, and I ended up putting some kind of angular edges into this shading already. But if I'd done it in completely parallel lines, or had done really fine hatches so that it covered over everything, just kind of like you would see in sort of those really kind of fine line hatched pen and ink drawings of old, you get this. I really like this because of the kind of grit to it, the scratchiness, the edges. You can make anything kind of more edge focused in the way you place shadows, in the way you make shapes, and it can bring a whole new dimension to your drawings and make them more interesting. Those are my thoughts. Let's draw something now.
So it's time for a game, YouTube viewers. Have I drawn this picture before? Because I legitimately cannot remember. I came across a pencil version of it in my sketchbook that I was looking at while I was cleaning up some things, and I remembered how much I liked this idea. I can't remember if I have done this drawing before, but I thought even if I have new ways of doing it. I have more skills than when I did that initial pencil sketch, so I do feel like it's okay to go back and redo something if I've already done it. And let me know in the comments if you remember a drawing like this before. It is my life right now, just a moment as I approach 40 years on this earth and spend some time really just thinking about how much of a different person I am than I was in my 20s. That it's hard for me to connect with people. It's a lot easier for me to connect with my cat. My wife is pretty good, though, as a person to connect to. I've got her. I'm very grateful for that. I spend a lot of time doing things on my own. I don't smoke, by the way, just in case anyone's wondering about the pipe. It's just an image that looked, I think, kind of funny and cool. I do drink sometimes, but not excessively. So my drug of choice is definitely more books than any of the other things in this video. I do engage in book reading. So I'm a frequent user of books. So this was actually interesting to think about and to work through as a drawing, because I really just took my time with it. I didn't stress about how long it was taking. I just kind of gave myself a little bit of time to figure everything out. And I think that in the end, what I got was interesting and fun. And the pen itself, this Writech Retractable pen, was surprisingly fun to use. Like, I enjoyed every minute of drawing with this stupid, weird little pen. I still don't think that, I don't know why I like it. I don't think that it's a good pen. I don't think I recommend it. But I do kind of, I've actually come back to this pen, and I've used it a couple times since doing this drawing, and it's kind of fun. I don't know if I like it ironically or if it's just some weird little thing that's just me and my quirkiness, but this was a surprising find. And it has definitely some weaknesses. Again, like I've mentioned before, it feels really cheap, really plasticky, but it makes really consistent lines. Like, I was able to consistently put every line that I needed to down. And honestly, some pens that cost 2 to 3 times as much as this one are not that consistent. I've had a lot of pens that needed work right out of the box, and it doesn't even seem to matter like how much they cost, and some that are just good to go from day one, and this is one of those pens for whatever reason. So anyway, hope you enjoyed my ramblings about this super weird pen, and I hope you're doing good with people, unlike me. Anyway, that's it for this drawing. Thanks for listening.
Final thoughts. I am pleasantly surprised by this pen. I don't think I recommend it still. It's super weird. If you're looking for something weird, you can check it out. You can pick it up. Tell me what you think. But I am on this rabbit hole of unusual pens, and I would love to know your favorite weird pen. Let me know in the comments. If there's something I haven't heard of, maybe I'll pick it up for my next video. Please do like and subscribe if you enjoy this content and would like to see more from me. I will see you in the very next video that I'm preparing even as we speak. Have a good one.